This is show 5, right? Yeah, 5. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kansas Missing and Unsolved Podcast, episode number 5. And how's everybody doing out there tonight? Hopefully, everybody's doing well and staying safe amid all this stuff that's going on out here. And tonight, joining me again, co-host Derek Relaford, and again with us tonight, Ashley Duff. How's everybody doing?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Doing all right.
Staying safe.
Keeping well so far.
Yeah.
So far here in Saline County, we're up to 13 positives. We jumped 3 cases. We added 3 cases today in a place here, a private company here in town's got some cases popping up. So,
yeah, Garden City had a press release that said a store owner had it, and
really?
they announced the store. And I guess there's actually the store has like kind of it's a Spanish store, and there's another restaurant in town that kind of has the same name. Like they took some heat from it too. People were freaking out, but they had somebody who had tested positive, and they have tried to contact everybody that's been in and out of that store for the past like 14 days. And she passed away, and I guess now her 2 children and husband have it. So definitely making its impact on Kansas right now.
Yeah.
No, not good.
Yeah, but I was noticing Cake News has updated their story on the recovery rate, and so far they're saying, what was it, 240 people in 23 counties have recovered.
Great.
Yeah.
And the positive things that you share, Ricky, just so much negative that's shared about it. So I definitely appreciate
it. Yeah, that's my thinking. So much negative that I like to get the positives out there and show that it's, there's more than just, the negative out there.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so should we get started? Or
yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to start off with Rosemary Rose Kaling. She also goes by the last name Eklund. She is missing from Wichita. Been missing since April 11th, 2020. She's 16 years old. She's 5'4" to 5'7" tall, weighs 225 to 230 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. It is known that she has connections to folks in Wichita, Salina, and Great Bend. Her hair is shoulder length with bangs. She has a scar on her upper right arm and one on her left hand by her thumb that might look like a semicolon butterfly tattoo. She has a nose ring, which is visible in the far left photo. It's like a nose hoop kind of thing there.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. And actually, I was sent 2 more pictures that are a little bit more recent of her that I'm going to add and repost the flyer after a while on that one. I forgot to do that this afternoon. I've been making flyers off and on all day. I've made 5 today, so I've been keeping busy. If you have any information regarding Rose's disappearance or her whereabouts, you can call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9478. or 316-268-4111, or the KBI at 785-296-4017.
And so she's just been missing like 3 days, it says?
Yeah, 3 days.
Yeah. We keep seeing this the last 3 weeks for sure. It's just a terrible time to run away, people.
Yeah, it is. And I have done a lot of juvenile flyers the last several days.
And that doesn't mean you can't. If you're in a bad situation, there's just better ways to do things than running away. You can call, the police. You can call all kinds of places, and I'll try to get some of those numbers before the show ends. But yeah, this is a very dangerous time to be outside of your house for anything. So just let's stay home.
Definitely. Yeah, if we could, that's something we need to look into doing, is getting there's a national runaway hotline for runaways that need help that they can call. We need to see if we can get that number.
I'll find it right now.
Okay.
You want to move on to the next flyer real quick while I do
that?
Yeah,
let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, go ahead.
And this one is a recent one, just happened yesterday, as a matter of fact. It's a young lady named Aubrey Resendez. Basically, Wichita police officers were called to the quick shop in the 1600 block of Southwest Street in Wichita to report of a shooting. When they arrived there, they discovered that the rear window of a white Dodge Avenger had been shot out and that 18-year-old Aubrey Resendez suffered a gunshot wound. She was later pronounced dead at a local Wichita hospital. She was the passenger in the vehicle, and the 18-year-old driver and 27-year-old male passenger were not hurt. The investigation revealed that there was a disturbance in the 4200 block of West Pawnee in Wichita between those in the Avenger and the occupants of a silver truck. During the disturbance, an individual in the silver truck did fire multiple shots at the Avenger, striking the vehicle and striking Aubrey as well. If you have any information regarding the shooting that took Aubrey's life, please call the Wichita Police Department detectives at 316-268-4407, or you can call their Crime Stoppers number and report anything anonymously at 316-267-2111, or the See Something, Say Something hotline at 316-519-2282.
This is such a sad case to me. I mean, obviously they all are sad, but this one is just really sad. Her dad was shot 4 years ago.
Yeah, I read something about that. Yeah, and they still don't have anybody arrested in connection with his case either.
No.
Was he shot fatally also?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. In Wichita as well.
Yeah.
And over an altercation. And from what I read, Aubrey was with her dad, and he told her to leave. So she drove the family car and left, and then came back with another family member, and found her dad dead in this parking lot. So
right, and she was just 15 at that time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do you know if you would both know, being in Kansas, do these cases, this case and her father's case, do you see them enough in like the newspapers and stuff that they're continually digging for stuff like that? Or
I'm going to tell you, I didn't know anything about her father's case until I looked into Aubrey's case.
Right. Wow. I didn't either.
So
I'll have to go backtracking and see what I can find on his case and get a flyer up for him as well. If I don't have one up already that I forgot about. I make so many flyers I can't.
Well,
keep
that's
them
the
all
sad
straight.
thing. Like, I wish we didn't have to do this show, but it's like you get flyers every day. It's like there's only so many hours in a day, and you can only cover so many cases and stuff. Which, by the way, if anybody in the chat is watching the show and you have somebody that's missing in Kansas, or an unsolved homicide, give us a message, Ricky, at Kansas Missing Unsolved Facebook page, and we'd love to showcase it on the show in a future show.
Sure.
Her father's body is still missing too.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? That I didn't know.
There's an update that I didn't see, but from what I read.
I will have to look that up.
So when she came back with the family member, they just never found him again?
Well, I guess I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I was reading today, that whoever killed him put his body in his vehicle and then took it somewhere. They found the abandoned vehicle, but then never found his body. So I'm not really, there's a lot of empty, pieces there. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but that's just what I was reading today.
You're very welcome, Derek. You're welcome, Michael. I hope that they are located soon and safely. You're very welcome, Beth. You're very welcome, Teresa.
A lot of love tonight in the chat room.
Yes, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, then we're gonna do this one next. Dakota Hastings.
Dakota, okay. Dakota's another one missing out of Wichita. Been missing since yesterday. Missing about 10 o'clock yesterday morning. I don't have a lot of information on him other than he's 15 years old, 6 foot tall, weighs 130 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding his disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, you can call Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9478 or 316-268-4111 or the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. Their number is 785-296-4017.
And Dakota, if you're watching and you're running for a reason or whatever your reasoning is, you can go to www.1800runaway.org and they can help you. We looked that up. That's a good resource. Contact them if you don't want to contact the police yourself. If you want to go through somebody else, you can go to that website and they'll help you.
Yes, definitely.
Find a safe place, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's always sad. He's 15 years old, you know?
No, it's sad. It always makes you wonder what the situation is.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
They're all different.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always had my own theories as to why some of these kids run, and especially the foster kids, you know.
Right.
Some of it's, you know, I think is they're not used to structure and rules. Some of them come from environments where, you know, they don't have any rules or structure to speak of, and when they're introduced to it, they don't like it, and so of course they want to get away from it.
Correct.
And I've also theorized that maybe maybe they just want to get back to their family, which is another possibility. Or some of them feel like they're better off on the streets than in a foster home, which is sad. But
I don't know if you remember your teen years, but I mean, I really had it together. No, I'm just kidding. Like, it's a rough time to be a human. Like, a lot of emotions, you know, like your brain's not fully developed yet. You got a lot of emotions. You don't know what to do with them. So a lot of times, you know, we all have that fight or flight inside of us. And a lot of times people do the flight one and they take off. But, you know, it's not the best plan. There's better ways to do things. Maybe you don't want to be in the situation you're in, but there's better ways to do things than just disappearing. If you're listening, 1-800-runaway.org, visit them.
No, yeah, I remember my teen years. When I was 15, my dad died, and then I went through a serious bout of depression, the undiagnosed depression. I didn't know it was depression, didn't recognize it as depression, but I just basically, after he died, I shut down. I quit caring about school. I just, you know, eventually I dropped out of school, got my GED, and just sat on my butt at home and didn't do really much of nothing for a while, which looking back, I know that was a mistake of myself, and I know my dad wouldn't have wanted me to do that, but that's how I coped with it and handled with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
before I forget,
it was rough.
Do a thing. Last time you guys had me on the show, which I appreciate, and I'll join y'all anytime. But last time, immediately our search group page received a message from a family member of a missing young lady. So we are taking that case on. I've done a little bit of research, and Ricky, we were talking about that case before we went live. So I think we're going to compare notes. But if a missing or a friend, you most message our search group page, which is Missing in Kansas, Megan's Voice. So please, we're here to help.
And I got that scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So write that down and check that page out. A lot of good work being done over there.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tara, for the compliments, and thank you, Beth, Jillian, Charnick. She says, thank you for all you do. God bless each and every one of you, including those who share these posts, law enforcement, searchers, etc. And a big pat on your back to all the people on these pages that are sharing these posts. That's amazing. That people
I agree with you, Beth, on that. You know, thank you to everybody that shares these posts. And
they don't have to. You know, it's really easy to scroll past that stuff. So I think it says a lot about a person that says, even if I've never met this person and this is the first time I'm ever hearing of it, there's a small chance that me sharing it could help, you know?
Yes.
Right. Definitely.
Okay, so you want to go into the next case?
Sure.
All right, sounds good.
And this one is from right here in my hometown. It's another unsolved murder, Beverly Logan. On January 21st, 2008, Salina Police Department responded to 1200 East Iron to check the welfare of the only occupant that lived in the residence, which was Beverly Logan. When they arrived, they found the front door was ajar, and Ms. Logan was deceased in the kitchen. It was apparent she was the victim of a brutal attack. She was attacked around noon on that Monday. Her home's located next door to a heavily patronized convenience store on a pretty busy street. And at the bottom of the flyer, there's a photo of the house, and you can see the convenience, well, the car wash part of the convenience store just right across the way from it. And they did develop they thought they had a person of interest early on in the investigation. They had put out a sketch of a person of interest that they were saying was like a tall, thin, light-skinned African American male with dreadlocks, and then a short time later they pulled that off and said, no, that's not a person of interest after all. And so far, there have been no viable suspects developed. I don't know if it was just a random thing or what, but if anybody has any information regarding her death, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department 785-826-7210 and see if we can't get some information generated to help point investigators in the right direction to help find out who did this to Beverly. It's been just a little over 12 years now
The
since her murder.
convenience store kind of raises my eyebrows a little bit because that means that like you said, 1 billion people that go there a day. So that just that's
Yeah,
a lot of just random people that really have no idea who were in the area. Not to say you don't want to say everybody's a
yeah,
suspect, but I'm just saying like it's a heavily populated area, so that probably
yeah,
makes the investigation pretty tough.
yeah. And I don't know. I mean, it's just a sad deal. I mean, I periodically, depending on my daily activities, or times that I drive back and forth past that house frequently. Especially there's like one place where I have to take one daughter to one of her appointments that I go back and forth by there and stuff like that. So I do, it's always fresh in my mind since I drive right by it. But I was, in the back of my mind, I'm always wondering, who would have wanted to brutally, murder an older woman, you
Yeah.
know.
Now,
And there
Rick,
was talk that maybe, yeah,
oh,
go ahead.
no, I was just going to ask you, did you read anything about her being in the front yard and then found in the house?
I don't recall reading anything about that. I think the things I've seen is all pointed to that she was in the found in the kitchen. So I don't know.
Okay.
And I do recall, and actually I remember driving by that house when it happened, or shortly after it happened. There was a police car in the driveway with the crime scene tape up, and there was snow on the ground. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that, and I know they thought at one point that maybe that she had some antique baby dolls that maybe they were thinking they were trying to steal or something, but then they ruled that out too. So I
Uh,
don't know. And they've had their theories, and then they've taken them back off the table again.
Was there any kind of
So I don't know.
monetary thing going on? Like, did she have like a life insurance policy or?
That I have no idea. That information's never been released.
Okay.
I know there's a city transit bus stop right out in front of the house. I can't remember if in 2008 we had that city transit bus system, but there is now. Um, I know there's a couple apartment buildings that are catty corner across the way that are directly across the street from that convenience store that there'd been some unsavory activity going on in those buildings in the past. So I don't know if there's any correlation between that and her murder or not. I don't know if, but I know recently, in recent years, those buildings were condemned and they were gutted and remodeled, and now they're being released, being re-rented, I guess is what I want to say. Finally, after being vacant for quite a while. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. I just
wow.
don't know who would want to harm an older lady like that. I don't know who would want to harm somebody like that. I mean, it just baffles my mind. It's just like when we covered the Nellie Hubbard case. Here's another older lady that lived at home by herself. Was friendly to anybody and everybody that lived around her, and somebody went in her house and murdered her.
I mean, it was if it was like a robbery that would but like it doesn't seem like there was really any motive that the police know about. Like it was just somebody just showed up and
Well,
killed her. It wasn't.
yeah.
It wasn't like
I'm
you said
wondering
they
on the
ruled out the doll thing. It wasn't like they went in there and like took a bunch of money and then they had to kill her. It seems like somebody just went in there and did it. That's terrible.
yeah.
That always makes my mind go to maybe she knew them. What do you
Yeah.
guys?
It's possible because I never heard any information regarding break in or door being jimmied or anything like that. I never seen have seen anything along those lines released.
Well, I don't know if Salina is like anything like Garden City, but we don't always lock our door when we lived in Garden.
When I was growing up, not too many people locked their doors, but I think in more recent years, I think everybody's starting to lock their doors
Yeah.
now. Although every now and then I'll hear, I have a police scanner, and every now and then I'll hear a police call where they say, "Oh, I got woke up in the middle of the night and somebody's in my living room that shouldn't be." So it makes me wonder if there aren't some folks that still don't lock their door.
And I think that's generally somebody who's very drunk and they think they're in the right place when that happens. I hope so anyway.
Hey, it can happen. Right? Wow.
Next, I got a little funny story about that. When my grandmother was still alive, I was still a teenager. I asked my grandma one time. I said, "Grandma, I said, what would you do if you ever?" Because she never locked her doors and windows and stuff. And I said, "What would you do if you woke up in the middle of the night and somebody was half in your window one night?" And she said, "Well, I'd help them the rest of the way in the window, and then I'd beat the crap out of them." And she would too. She would too. She was an ornery old Texan. Let me tell you what.
Yeah. It's kind of like my grandma. Good luck going in her house. She's a farm
Mm,
lady.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah.
Thank
I
you, Lee.
believe she would too. I saw her take my grandfather one time. He had drank a little bit too much, and I was being my unreal pain in the butt self, and he was trying to get at me, and she kept cutting him off. And eventually, she grabbed him, twisted his arm up behind his back, pushed him up on the bed, and got up on him and sat on him. Sat there, sat on him until he passed out.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, you didn't want to mess with my grandma. Let me tell you what. She was an ornery old Texan. Yeah. Yeah, God rest her soul, boy. I tell you what, she was something else. But anyway, should we move on to
Oh, yeah.
Rachel?
Speaking of Garden City, yeah.
Yeah, Rachel Geraldine Pratt. Yeah, she has been missing for quite some time. Just since January 16th, 1995. She was 15 when she went missing. She would now be 40. She's about 5'7" tall, 125 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She was last seen watching a movie inside the family home in Garden City at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning. She did disappear under suspicious circumstances and has never been heard from again. She left all of her clothing and personal belongings at her home except for her coat. 5 days after her disappearance, some girls claimed to have seen her talking on a payphone with her 18-year-old boyfriend. They say she left the phone with her boyfriend after asking the girls for a ride, then went into Dylan's grocery store. The sighting has not been confirmed, and her boyfriend denies having been with her after she had vanished. Rachel was supposed to be a witness against her boyfriend, who was being prosecuted for unlawful sexual relations with her. Because Rachel disappeared before she could testify, the charges were dropped. They started dating when Rachel was 14, yeah, and a freshman in high school, and her boyfriend was a senior. He was her first boyfriend. Rachel's mother found out she was pregnant after Rachel was arrested for attempting to shoplift a home pregnancy test from Walmart. She gave her statement to the police at that time. There's never been any evidence to suggest that Rachel had ever given birth. There are also no records of her ever receiving a driver's license, a copy of her birth certificate, or a social security card. She may have remained in the Kansas City area after her disappearance. I'm not supposed to say Garden City. I wonder if I goofed on that. There have been no sightings of her in many years, but authorities remain hopeful that she is still alive. She has 7 siblings. Her mom still lives at the same address and has kept the same phone number. If you have any information regarding Rachel's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Garden City Police Department at 620-276-1300, or you can call the KBI at 785-296-4017.
This gets talked about quite a bit in Garden City. There really wasn't a lot to go on.
Yeah, not much. She was here one minute and gone the next.
I guess when the police went to the house, I don't think this had anything to do with it, but I thought it was kind of funky. But they had found a mattress that was partially burned, and it was done that day in her basement, and that
Hmm.
was like the only thing from the day that she went missing that I thought sounded weird. And then the pregnancy thing. That's obviously, if that, if she's getting ready to testify against her boyfriend, that's a motive in itself. But at the
Exactly.
same time, no, we don't know what her feelings were towards it. Like, was she testifying against her boyfriend on her own free will, or was she being asked to because legally she wasn't supposed to? And which, by the way, like she was a freshman, he was a senior. I mean, I graduated in 2001, and that wasn't like weird. Like there's a lot of seniors dating freshmen. I guess that all depends on your the rules at home and stuff. But I don't know. I wonder if she wanted to testify, and that could lean towards a runaway situation that she didn't want to testify.
Right.
Yeah,
Now,
they could.
burnt mattress.
Yeah, because
I was reading that her and her brother accidentally caught that mattress downstairs on fire, and they called mom to tell her. And then mom came home early from work. Did you read that too, Derek?
No, all I remember was the burned mattress. But that now that you're saying it, I think yeah.
And then she just left with coat only, left everything else behind. So to me, just my personal opinion, that says to me that she wasn't planning on being gone very long at all.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
right.
If you're going to run away, I mean, you're going to take clothes and stuff with you, I would think.
Yeah, and
Well,
it's not like she only had 7 siblings. Like Rachel was popular. I know there's a page out there, and I'll post it here in just a second. But she has a lot of friends that still to this day search for her through Facebook pages, kind of like what we do.
Mhm.
And it's. I think if she was alive, she would have reached out to somebody by now. And that page is the search for Rachel Pratt on Facebook, and you can find that. And my friend Tessa posts a lot of just updates and things that Rachel would have liked and stuff. And it's a nice little page if anybody wants to check it out. But yeah, it's been too long. Like she disappeared when she's 15, and she would now be 40 years old. Like
yeah.
I think something like hopefully us talking about it tonight could maybe rejuvenate maybe GCPD looking into it a little more. I don't know. I just feel like 1995 was a long time ago, and I
Was.
I, I
Yeah, it
find it.
was.
I don't like it that the only public work being done on it is by her friends. I'd like to see more, uh, some more big time people looking into this.
Right. I agree.
Thank you for keeping your page up, Tessa. It's really important because a lot of people don't realize that if we didn't do these pages, these people would actually die. But as long as we have these pages up, they're not dead. Their memory lives on, and we continue to look. So, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey Tessa,
Yeah.
she said share, but what's the other page? Go ahead and post the pages in there, and I'll post the comment. But yeah, long time.
I didn't quite. I didn't. The audio is breaking up bad.
Am I breaking up to you, Ashley?
No, you're not.
It might be your connection, Ricky.
See, Derek.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
audio is breaking up.
blaming you.
Yeah, the audio is breaking up bad.
Here, leave and come back, Ricky.
What?
Leave and come back.
See ya.
Leaving?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me try.
Yeah. So what's the thing? How are things moving on your page? Missing
Uh,
in Kansas.
yeah. So pretty good. It's been a little quiet here lately. Just with
Yeah.
everything. But been doing a lot of research for current case, obviously for Megan, and then that current case that new case, excuse me, that we're going to take on. So yeah, but been honestly just been a little bit slow.
Yeah. I think the world kind of stopped. Everybody's kind of
Oh, I
everything's
know.
Yeah,
just
I'm
kind
making
of.
it back on there
There
slowly.
we go. Do I
There we
sound better,
go.
Ricky?
It sounds a little better. We'll see what happens. I think the problem might be on my end because my daughters are still here and they're on their stuff. So
Yeah.
it could be just an overload on my Wi-Fi here. I hope that's not the case, but it might be.
Well, we can hear you perfect, so that's really. You want?
Okay.
Let's go through the cases one more time. I'll go ahead and throw case one up for you.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Let's see. Rosemary Kaling, and also goes by the last name Eklund. She's a missing endangered runaway who went missing from Wichita, Kansas, April 11th, 2020, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She does have connections in Wichita, Salina, and Great Bend. She is, like I said, she's 16 years old, 5'4" to 5'7", weighs between 225, 230. She has shoulder length brown hair with bangs and brown eyes. She has a scar on her upper right arm and one on her left hand by her thumb that might look like a semicolon butterfly tattoo. And she has a nose ring that you can see in the far left-hand picture there. If you have any information regarding Rose's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call Wichita Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9478 or 316-268-4111, or you can call the KBI at 785-296-4017. And Rosemary, if you need any kind of help, go to 1-800-runaway.org and seek them out for help. And where are we moving to next? Okay. And this one is the unsolved homicide of Aubrey M. Resendez. Wichita police were called to Quick Shop in the 1600 block of Southwest Street for a report of a shooting. When they arrived to discover the rear window of a white Dodge Avenger had been shot out, and that 18-year-old Aubrey Resendez suffered a gunshot wound. She was pronounced dead later on at a local Wichita hospital. And she was a passenger in the Avenger, and the 18-year-old driver and 27-year-old male passenger were not hurt. And investigation revealed that there was a disturbance in the 4200 block of West Pawnee between the occupants of the Avenger and the occupants of a silver truck. And during the disturbance, an individual inside of the truck fired multiple shots at the Avenger, striking the vehicle and striking Aubrey. If anybody has any information regarding the shooting that took Aubrey's life, please call the Wichita, Kansas police detectives at 316-268-4407, or you can report any information anonymously at Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111, or you can call the See Something, Say Something hotline at 316-519-2282. And then moving on to the next one, which I believe is Dakota Hastings, another Wichita, missing since yesterday, April 13th. He's 15 years old. Went missing about 10 o'clock in the morning. He's 6 foot tall, 130 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. If you have any information on Dakota's whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9478 or 316-268-4111, or you can call the Kansas Bureau of Investigation at 785-296-4017.
And Dakota, if you're watching, if you don't feel comfortable going home, you don't have to go home, but just make sure that you are safe and make sure that someone knows that you are okay.
Yes, definitely.
Even if it's just a friend of yours, just let somebody know.
Yes,
okay.
please.
Definitely. And Beverly Logan, the hometown one here, on January 21st, 2008. Salina police responded to 1200 East Iron to check the welfare of Beverly Logan. When they arrived, they found the front door was ajar and Ms. Logan was deceased in the kitchen. It was an apparent homicide. She was the victim of a brutal attack. Homicide occurred around noon that day, and her home was located next door to a heavily patronized convenience store on a relatively busy street. Her murder has been extensively investigated by the Salina Police Department, and the investigation is an ongoing investigation. At this point, there are no viable suspects. They did, as I mentioned earlier, at one time release a composite of a light-skinned African-American male with dreadlocks, but then turned around and said he was no longer a person of interest in the case. There were suspicions at one time that it may have been a robbery, as they were thinking maybe somebody wanted to steal these antique baby dolls that she had, and then that was quickly ruled out. But if anybody has any information regarding Beverly's death at all, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 and see if we can't get some information generated to find out who did this to Beverly.
Pretty terrible.
And yeah, it is. And then that would bring us to Rachel Geraldine Pratt. She went missing from Garden City, Kansas on January 16th, 1995. She was 15 when she went missing. She would be 40 now. She was 5'7", 125 pounds, brown and brown. She was last seen watching a movie in the family home in Garden City at 1 o'clock in the morning. She disappeared under suspicious circumstances, and she's never been heard from again. All of her personal belongings were left behind except for her coat. There was an unconfirmed sighting 5 days after her disappearance. Some girls claimed to have seen her talking on the payphone with her 18-year-old boyfriend. And then she left the phone with her boyfriend after asking the girls for a ride. And then she went inside a Dillon's grocery store that was there. Rachel was supposed to be a witness against her boyfriend who was being prosecuted for unlawful sexual relations with her because Rachel disappeared before she could testify. The charges were dropped. They started dating when Rachel was a 14-year-old freshman and her boyfriend was a senior at the time. He was her first boyfriend, and Rachel's mom found out she was pregnant after Rachel was arrested for attempting to shoplift a home pregnancy test from Walmart. She gave her statement to the police at that time. There's never been any evidence to indicate that she gave birth. There's also no record of her ever trying to receive a driver's license or a copy of her birth certificate or social security card. She may have remained in the Garden City area after her disappearance. There have been no sightings of her in many years. Authorities remain hopeful that she is still alive. Rachel does have 7 siblings, and her mom still lives in the same house and kept the same phone number. If anybody has any information regarding Rachel's disappearance, or you know of her whereabouts, or have any information that could help investigators move this case forward, please call the Garden City Police Department at 620-276-1300 or call the KBI at 785-296-4017.
Jessica says things have changed since '95. Can they reopen and look at the boyfriend and such with new technology out there? I think I think they can, but I think a lot of that has to do with funding. Like I know that it's sad, but there's like there's a lot of DNA out there that's just never been tested because there's no funding for it. So there's a lot of basically crimes that we kind of know the truth to, but good luck getting them tested in a timely manner. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Am I still breaking up for you, bad Ricky?
A little bit, not like it was before, but a little bit. Like I said, I think it's probably my end with my girls being here and being on their devices. I think that's possible.
Yeah. So what's new? Besides the cases we covered tonight, what's new?
Well, like I said, I've been keeping busy the last several days. I did 5 flyers today. I think I did 3 or 4 yesterday. I did several over the weekend. So I did
2 from today found safe. Is that right?
Yeah, originally the 2 that I was going to do on the show tonight were found safe early this morning. It was a stepbrother and stepsister missing out of Concordia, Nathan Hall Vigneri, and Jalissa Sexton. They were located in Osborne County this morning.
Okay.
So they were back home and safe.
And then Wayne Knight said, justice for Tawana Knight, murdered in 1996 in Spring Hill, Kansas. Johnson County will not do anything to help solve her murder. She was only 15. Please help us and her.
Yes, we will definitely feature her on an upcoming show. Let me make myself a note so I do not forget. Trying to remember which case that was exactly. Can't remember if that was the one where, well, I'm not even going to speculate without knowing for sure because I don't want to get my signals crossed. But
yeah.
But and then today, out of the flyers I did today, I was actually asked to do one for a non-custodial parent uh, taking their kid out of California, and then I did another one for a missing young man up in Minnesota. So
Oh, wow.
being asked, so I've been asked to do some out of state again, which I don't
Nice.
mind doing. Yeah, I don't mind doing it. But hopefully, it's a 5-year-old little boy out of California, and
Mm,
uh, the grandmother actually has custody, but the birth mom came and got him, and don't know where they are.
shoot.
Yeah, I did another one for a couple girls that the birth father came and got for a court ordered visit, and supposed to brought them back Sunday. He did not. Don't know where they are either.
Where was
It
that? Here.
was Wichita.
Okay.
Yeah, it was down in Wichita. Yeah, it was Taylor and Haley Burris, and their biological father's name is Christopher Burris. There's a flyer posted down below the where the show's going to post. If you scroll down from that little ways, you'll find their flyer that you can share.
Has
And last I looked, it's already been shared almost 2,000 times in less than
Wow.
4 hours. So it's going.
why does that name sound familiar? Has this happened
I
before? The
I
last
don't know.
Burris?
The name does sound kind of familiar, but
Hmm.
I haven't done a flyer for him before, so I don't know.
Hmm.
I do not know. I know I was messaged by 3 different people asking me if I could get a flyer going. I was hit up twice on Facebook, once on Twitter. So
Good.
I was, initially when I had checked KBI's website to see if they were listed, they weren't coming up. And then, like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I checked again, and there they were. And during that time, I was scrambling, I was messaging people asking for information and trying to get information from here and from there. And then KBI finally came through with their website. So that helped me out tremendously. So I
Good.
could get, so I could get a hold of the right family member to where I could get finally got a hold of to the girl's mom, and she got me the case number and everything. So fortunately, we got it going finally.
That's good. Do you remember there was a runaway from Salina, oh, probably a few months or so ago, and I had messaged you about it and said that I had, reached out to Dad. Do you remember? You remember that case by chance?
I
Anyway,
remember, I remember you doing it, but I don't remember the name.
I don't recall off the top of my head right now either. But anyway, I didn't know if you remembered her name and if she ever went home or was found or.
No, I know there was the one Savannah Ballantine that's been missing from here. I don't know. I have a flyer of her, but I haven't ever heard whether she's been located or not. Let me check with KBI and see if they still have her listed here. We'll find out. Yeah, missing since March 18th. So, yep, she's still listed as missing.
This one was at least a few months ago.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
remember.
trying to remember.
Oh.
I'd have to go back and look and see because I
Yeah,
don't remember. And it's hard to keep up with them.
it is. There's so many.
And Savannah Valentine, I'm kind of catching on to her a little bit because she'll take off. She'll be gone for a while, come back home, be there for a day or two, and take off again, be gone for a while. And then she'll come back for a day or two and take off again. So I don't know what she's trying to
Mm.
accomplish by doing that, but
Michael
And
Anderson says, Ricky, any word on the status of my son Zachary Anderson's case?
I haven't heard anything on his case. I haven't heard any new information or anything like that.
where is he missing from?
I believe it was Topeka. Now, let me double check on that. I don't want to tell you wrong. Where you at? Second here, I gotta look. Here we are. He is. Topeka. Since January 18, 2017.
Okay.
And I don't think we've covered him on the show just yet. But I will make a note of him as well. Let's see what I can find out. Because if there is any updates, I would like to find out. I'll do some emailing and see what I can find out. Because I would like to see if there are any updates. I think he brought it up to me that they were shifting his case from. I think it was his case. They said they were going to shift it from a missing person to suspicious death or unsolved homicide or something like that. I'll have to double check on that, but I think that's what he was telling me. I'll have to look. That's concerning that they would shift that from one to the other. Of course, I've heard of that before. It's just like with Catherine Adams been missing here in Salina since 1993. They just here within the last several years shifted her case from a missing persons case to a homicide case. So
shoot.
It's not unheard of.
No.
No, she's still missing too, as a matter of fact. After all these years, she was our legs pantyhose distributor around town.
Oh,
back
really?
then. Yeah. Matter of fact, when she went missing, she was actually at the storage facility where she kept her inventory and was loading up to do her rounds that day and was attacked out there at the storage facility. And they said that there was blood found on the ground outside the storage unit and some inside, evidence that somebody tried to clean it up. I think they said there was some shell casings found. The next day, the van was found at Russell's Restaurant here in town, which at that time was closed for renovations. So, but when they found the van, there was a bunch of mud smeared on the outside of the van along the bottom part of it, and they said there was a quantity of blood found on the inside of it. And apparently, whoever did it tried to cover up the blood, I guess, inside the van with like twigs and stuff, and leaves and things.
So not a smart person.
No. Apparently there was a tripometer on her dashboard that kept track of her miles for the trip that day, and they said there was 60 miles put on the van that day.
Wow.
So my understanding was I heard over the years that apparently the police department searched a 60-mile radius looking for her, and I thought, well, they put 60 miles on the van. 60 miles would have been a little bit extreme because you figure 30 miles out, 30 miles back. So I would have narrowed it down to probably 30 instead of 60. But that's just me.
Right.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And there's no trace of her has ever been found. And I remember around that time when she went missing, we were experiencing a lot of heavy rains, a lot of flooding around that time. So anything that could have been found may have been washed away by the flooding. I don't know. Because we had a lot of rain that year.
Okay.
Yeah. So how are things going with Megan's voice?
Good. A little slow right now, with this crazy Kansas weather that we've had. I think it's really the only nice day.
82 degrees over the weekend, and now we got a freeze warning again tonight.
I know. Right. Yeah. So slow, but anxious to get back out there and get some boots on the ground.
Yeah.
For sure.
Are you guys having to take any extra precautions with all the corona stuff when you're out there searching, or?
No. It's just been me for here lately.
Oh, has it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Just been me here lately, so. Yeah, I know one of my searchers, she had knee surgery, so she's still been recovering from that, and it's just kind of hard to get everyone's schedules coordinated, but
yeah,
we We will.
Good deal.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys will find something out there that'll break things open, hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah, and I just keep hoping somebody will call in, that information that'll point you guys in a different direction, maybe that you hadn't thought of before. Or,
Well,
yeah.
from the last show, we did receive, you know, a tip, I will say. So
Okay.
no matter how small or big you think it is, we definitely appreciate those, and they're helpful because we check all of them out. So,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I'll tell you, we love having you on here.
Yeah.
It's really good to have you on here.
Appreciate
So
all.
if you want to join us every week, that's fine. If you're able to, or join us when you can, so just let me know.
We'll do. When's the next show? Thursday, or are you skipping Thursday?
Yeah, a week from Thursday, actually, because I'll be working this Thursday, so it'll be the following Thursday.
Okay. Sounds good.
And what else? That would be on my calendar. My wall's still on March. I gotta change it.
Oh my god.
It would be the 23rd.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good. And I'll get with you this weekend or early next week. And
Okay. Yeah, if you want to, though, after the show, we'll compare some notes on what we were talking about earlier, too.
Anything on Gina Cypher's murder in Salina, Kansas?
I haven't heard anything on that one. I'll have to do some digging and see if there's been any updates on that. She would be a good one to talk about on the show, too. I remember that one, too.
Who was that, Derek?
That
Gina
was
Cyphers.
Yeah, I got it pinned.
Oh, yep.
I remember that one, too. Yeah. Pretty sad deal. Yeah.
That's all I know. There's just too many.
There are.
Yep.
I'm just, Salina's not that big of a town, really. I mean, there's only barely 50,000 people here, and when these murders were going on, there was only like 40,000 people here. So I mean, you'd think somebody would know something.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yep. If
All
you
right.
do or think that it's nothing, it definitely could be something. So please,
Yeah.
call Ellie, or get a hold of Ricky's page, get a hold of our search group. I mean,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I remember when Catherine Adams disappeared, they started circulating the composite for the I-70, I-35 serial killer again around that time, and I was working at Boston Truck Plaza at the time, and a guy came in. Well, these two guys came in, and one had brought the other one in so he could do a Western Union MoneyGram, and he saw the composite, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that guy stayed over at the Gospel Mission here in town." And I was like,
oh wow.
"Excuse me." And he told me the guy that he said the guy, he always carried this little paper bag with him. He never let it out of his side. He slept with it under his pillow. And he said they called by the time they got the police call and the police got over there to check it out, the guy was already long gone. And I was like, at that time, the mission was up on the northern part of town. And my sister and brother-in-law, my niece, who was really, really young at that time, they were living about 3 or 4 blocks straight south of where the mission was. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
Kidding.
One more. Justice for Mills Jasmine, Deanna Peters, Olathe, Kansas, Kansas City, Kansas, 2019.
Mills, Deanna Peters. Is that supposed to be Jasmine Mills, or is it actually Mills Jasmine? I'm not familiar with that one at all. I will have to look that one up and see.
We're gonna write all these down, and you'll definitely see these cases you're telling us about on future episodes.
What was the other name? Jasmine Mills, and what was the other part?
Deanna Peters.
Deanna Peters. Okay. Yeah, I'm writing all these down over here, so I can start doing some research.
Yeah.
I kind of like the turnaround between the Tuesday and the Thursday show because it gives me a little more time to actually dig into things.
Yeah, it gives us a long time.
The Thursday to Tuesday is a little bit shorter and a little bit have to kind of scramble a little bit more, especially when I'm, making new flyers in between, which is fine. I don't mind. I'll juggle it.
Yeah.
But
You want to call it, buddy?
You want to say any parting words from anybody before we say goodnight?
I'll just post this again. If we gave you a lot of phone numbers tonight, but if you don't remember any of them, here's the big dog. They handle everything. They can put you in contact with who you need to be with. KBI 785-296-4017.
And I do want to remind everybody again, if you're a runaway and you're needing help, to go to the website 1-800-runaway.org. And I know I believe that's also their phone number, 1-800-runaway. I believe is also
yeah.
their phone number as well, that you can call them on as well. So, if you're needing help, don't hesitate to ask for it. That's what they're there for, is to help you if you're needing it.
Yes.
And I want to thank Ashley again for joining us tonight from her Facebook page, Missing in Kansas, Megan's Voice. It's always a pleasure to have her with us.
Thank you. And if anybody has a missing family member or friend, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you guys out.
You bet.
One deserves to be brought home. So.
Yes, definitely.
Yep.
You guys have a good night and stay safe, and we will see you on the 23rd with the episode number 6.
All right. See y'all next time.
Or